Please don't unsubscribe. The Sega Genesis, leader of the 16-bit revolution. Or at least that's what they said on the box, but I digress. And one of the reasons why this system was considered a leader back in the 90s was because of, just a little known game called Sonic the Hedgehog, but I don't think anyone's ever heard of that. The game is fun, but overall there's a lot of issues. But all those issues were solved in the sequel. Now that's how you do an intro. Alright, let's get some basic information out of the way. This game released in 1992, and well, it's a sequel if you couldn't tell. In this game you play as Sonic the Hedgehog, and you're followed around by Tails. There is a split screen multiplayer mode though, but it's not that great. In this game you get to go to 13 different zones. Each zone has 2 acts, and at the end of each second act you get to fight Eggman. They're all very different and unique boss fights, and they're all pretty fun and challenging, and that's what you should want from a video game. It gives a great challenge, and I honestly think this might be one of the most perfect games, but before I get into that, I gotta show you something else. One of the things that you can do is take Sonic 2 and plug it into your copy of Sonic & Knuckles, and what's going to happen is you are going to get what is essentially equivalent to, well, it's kind of like DLC, and that DLC is basically putting Knuckles the Echidna in Sonic the Hedgehog 2, which makes him technically the third playable character, but whatever. Alright, back to the main reason of why I made this video, and that is why I think this is one of the greatest games of all time. Now first, I gotta say, this game probably has some of the best game design that I have ever seen in a video game. Now this game does something special because in later entries of the series, it's basically hold right to win. And if it's not that, then it's literally just almost automation. It's like, press a button at this certain time, or press Q not to die. Great RT game quote right there. But this game, it's always a game that's pushing you to always get better, and when you do get better, it rewards you with speed. In later games, it just uses speed to look cool, but in this game, it uses speed as a reward to getting better at the game. And therefore, overall, it's a better experience. Another thing that makes this video game one of the greatest of all time is the fact that this bad boy controls like a Ferrari on a drag strip. Oh my gosh, the controls are so fluent, it's amazing. But this game, it's always a game that's pushing you to always get better, and when you do get better, it rewards you with speed. In later games, it just uses speed to look cool, but in this game, it uses speed as a reward to getting better at the game, and therefore, overall, it's a better experience. And while we're at it, let's talk about what makes a Sonic game a Sonic game. You know, the whole Sonic, Supersonic thing. Alright, I'll just get on with it. The speed in this game is, woo! Man, these programmers were like, yo, we're about to flex on these kids. You thought the first game was good? They ramped it up, baby. And if you've been looking at any of the footage that I've shown you, this game is fast. Man, this game is just so fast, it blows my socks away, but we got other things to talk about, so let's move on. You know, it's one thing for a platformer like this to control well and look good and be fast and stuff. But another thing that this game does absolutely incredible is the music. Just take a listen. If you haven't already been listening, I've been playing songs from the game in the background. And yeah, here's another one. Also a great track. I mean, just listen to it. Come on, that is great. You can't even lie. That's some great sounding music right there. Every stage almost seems to have the perfect music that always fits the theme. Everything is just great. I mean, the Sega Genesis has never sounded better than this. You can just hear that Sega Genesis twang, and it sounds incredible. The developers really knew what they were doing with the system by 1992, so the audio sounds great on this one. 10 out of 10 for me there. In fact, every category is 10 out of 10, except for a few things. Alright. This game isn't perfect. It's a great game, and I'm still saying it's the perfect game, but at the same time, it isn't perfect. There's a lot of times when you're just kind of going along, then enemies are placed in certain spots that are just, like, completely unavoidable. So instead of, like, making it so you could avoid those things, I feel like they're just putting enemies out there to make you waste rings instead of, having something a little more skillful, and I think that's just kind of lazy game design on their part. And also, it's buggy. This game is very buggy, but even though this game isn't perfect, it's still the perfect game. Sure, it has its issues, but it gives you everything that you want from a video game, a nice challenge, and it is super rewarding when you do something that is challenging. Oh man. This is definitely one of the best video games of all time. I totally would recommend it. 10 out of 10. It's a little dated, yes, but it's something everyone should experience. So that's going to be the end of the video. Have a nice day.
From the first time, I stayed for a long time, 'cause I like me better when I'm with you.